No, we don't need any.
As,
And we're
as
live.
always, we're
Okay.
live. As hello,
Pinguini, anything
say
you want to
hello.
say into the mic? Any
Yeah,
any last meows? First meows? Important meows?
hello, hello, Pinguini.
Pinguini?
Yeah,
Come on.
wow.
No meows. No meows for the moment. Okay, there we go. And we're out.
Did
You're
did
stuck with
she
me
already
now.
meow?
What's that? No, she ran. It was nap time, and I was disturbing her nap, and she was half waking up, and then fully woke up and realized the horror of being held in my hands. So
Yeah.
you're stuck with me now, unfortunately. Pinguini
Oh
shared all
no.
her thoughts on crypto just now.
So this morning, actually, this is funny. Not funny. I didn't plan to have the basing because I actually visited the base NYC office this morning.
Oh, nice. How'd it go?
It was good. I mean,
Who-
they have such a fancy office, to be
I haven't.
honest.
You'll be shocked to know I have not been invited there. Where? Who did you meet with?
I'm shocked.
Yeah,
I'm so
such a
shocked.
surprise. Such a surprise that I have not been invited to the base office. Who did you meet?
So when I went there, literally, like Jesse was standing in front of the door.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought Jesse lived in California. Jesse's here in New York.
yeah. Do you want to
Damn.
DM him?
Damn.
Oh
Okay.
my.
Yeah. We should get coffee. We should hang.
No, you DM him. I don't know him personally. I just saw him. Like he was literally standing in front of
Oh,
the
sick.
office. I think
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are in town this week from
Yeah.
office.
Interesting.
Mm,
They're not in
yeah.
Dubai. Yeah.
But I signed an NDA, so
You can't say
I wouldn't
anything.
say much.
Why do you have a cast? What happened?
I broke my arm.
Why? Why would you do that?
Why would I do that? It's just it's a bad thing. Bad event happens all the time.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. Like
Okay.
people signed a lot of like different wishes on my arm.
Yeah.
So oh, this is really cute.
I'll if I see
Adorable.
you in person, I'll definitely sign it that I hope your Bitcoin goes up again.
Thank you. When
Yeah.
are you coming to the city?
Well, as soon as Base gives me an invite, would love to come. Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure they'd be really excited to have me.
I mean, I told them I was like, oh, I'm going on a live stream with David Fells this
They're like,
afternoon to
who's
talk
that?
about this.
They're like, yeah.
No, they all know you. They all know
okay,
you, and this
At
is
least
what
I'm
they
not in
said.
the stage of like they don't, like the meme of like we don't think about you at all, like yeah. So that's good. That's good.
They say the beef is on one side, which is basically coming from you.
I wrote a bunch of nice things about Base at the end of Buenos Aires, and
Anyways,
I also will say, like, if you read the full post that I wrote about Base, I end it by saying Base is a great place to launch. It makes a lot of sense to launch it. They have a lot of network effects, and they're going to do really well. And it's a great chain to pick. And also, we are live on Base, and we've run stuff on Base within the past couple of weeks. So I don't know if I don't think the beef is on my side.
okay.
Like, I've been pretty pro Base. Yeah.
Cool. So let's do it. Like
Yeah.
I think for this live stream, basically we want to talk about more from a founder's perspective.
Yeah.
Of like what are we really looking for when we say, oh, we want like ecosystem support, right? Because both you and me were app builders. We work with many different ecosystems. We're crushing apps. While you know where I'm doing this live stream? I'm doing it from Monad Studio.
Amazing. Sick. Say hi. I big Monad fan. Say hi to all of them for me. I should reach out to them today, actually. Monad team is goated, by the way. Like Monad, within 24 hours of launching their token, we launched on them and they immediately reached out, did a call, like planning stuff with us, like really good support. Like just
you already launched.
Yeah, we're live on Monad. Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Mm-hmm.
How are things on Monad?
I mean, we haven't announced it or launched anything there yet, but stay tuned. I'm quite excited.
But how are you live without announcing it?
Oh, because we can add chains quite quickly. So we're a no code smart contract deployment tool technically. So when you create a contest, you're just deploying a smart contract in Solidity to whatever chain you're connected on in your wallet. Yeah, so we just need to be able to make sure your wallet can support it, and then you can launch a contract onto that chain, and we can run the whole thing there. So yeah, we're live in Monad. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's most of it.
I think probably we need to like retweet this. I highly suspect shadow ban or something like that.
What's that?
For the live stream. Probably let me see if I can retweet it or something.
Oh, nice. Are people watching? Do people know the
Yeah. I think we need it because my account sometimes is kind of
I'm reposting
shadow ban. Yeah, let me also use official account. Even though I don't usually do the official account thing. Okay, let me do it.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
Cool.
But I think so. I will share a little bit like what I did this morning. Even though I signed an NDA, but I was basically there. They were asking me about they invited a couple of like different crypto builders or Degen users to the office, and then they have this like coffee session to provide feedback on the most recent base app.
Yep.
So I was there, like I was telling we were like real time testing. I think it was actually a really good experience.
Cool.
Because you just real time watch people like.
By the way, I have tweeted very positively about the base app as well in the past. Just gonna put that out there too. When people think that I have some like personal beef, we'll get there. Yeah. Big fan. I'm a big fan of the base app. Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, I tested a couple of like different apps within the base app. I couldn't talk about details, but I think
that's fine.
There are some there are some like features that are really good. So I'm looking forward to be launching. But today it's about founders and builders, right?
Yeah.
So
okay, wait, let me say something on this, if that's okay. Like, I think there was a widespread misunderstanding that I was approaching this conversation as a founder who was complaining that I wasn't getting more support from Base, and that's not at all the case. It's quite the opposite, which is apps have the power now and Infra does not. Like Infra still is getting these big valuations, but their tokens are collapsing. They cannot produce revenue. They have given over their own tokens as mediums of exchange to stable coins. And there is like almost no reason to be holding ETH, Sol, all of these other like tokens right now. Sorry, but it's true. Like the Infra projects need apps. And so what I was writing that for the perspective of was to say, like, if you are Infra and you want to win as Infra, here's what you need to be doing in order to be getting apps to build on you. And I do think like Base has a lot of great advantages that they will maintain, and they will clearly be one of the winning ecosystems. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But like it is really competitive for Infra right now to get good builders and to get good apps. And like, no, it's not a question of being a weak app that needs a strong infra project to help you. It's a question of being a weak infra project that needs a strong app to help you. So I think like, you know, I'm really approaching it in terms of like, you know, as an app builder, where do you want to launch in a way that will support you and will be helpful? But also like, where are all these infra projects coming up with the idea that they are so strong that they can help with distribution when they actually can't? And it's actually no one has cracked that, right? And I say at the end of the post, it's not just Base. Like, you know, Solana, we were told for a year after Pump Fund that like everyone had to deploy on Solana. If you weren't deploying on Solana, you weren't going to get distribution. Like, this is the only place where all the liquidity was and the users were. And then there has not been a single other killer app that has come along since Pump Fund. Everyone who moved from Base to Solana did not make it. They did not get users. Like, and that's not Solana's fault either. It's just like, I think there's been an overpromise of the ability of Infra to be able to help you on distribution. And they can't necessarily. And so that's the big challenge. So then we can get into like, what could they be doing? Like, what are other things that would go better? Where are the issues with them over promising and under delivering? And like, you know, what are things actively, that could be going better? But like, you know, I said this after, it's like, if you are an app with no users and, you know, a chain comes along and they're going to multiply your user base by 10,000, you're still going to have 0 users. Like 10,000 times 0 is still just 0.
I feel like this is not, I have a lot of saying for this too, because I always talk to so many different ecosystems, and I think this is more like a market structure or market incentive problem more than anything else. Because first of all, right, just some disclaimer, like Sprout, when we consider what chains we want to deploy on, like we consider several factors. First is like how much liquidity is on that specific chain, right? Are there really good DeFi yield opportunities? And second is like, is the infrastructure good enough. Meaning, what I'm talking about is like different tooling, because you want like the RPC to be stable, the API cost to be stable, so that you can actually like do different things. You can do cross-chain bridging, you can track those information and have those data stably for users, right? And then certainly is like ecosystem support. But I think generally, like you mentioned two things. First thing is like a lot of people, they are not valuing app builders or applications that much. This is a general like industry problem. Like people are valuing or putting high valuations on infrastructure project because they feel like, oh, it's easier to have a higher valuation. It's easier to raise. So like naturally there are more builders there, right? And second is like people always think, oh, application distribution are so hard to crack. There will be someone else to crack it. So we just build the infra so that other people gonna use it. But the saturation of the infra builders is already there, right? So people start to realize, oh, actually revenue is really, really important. But because for a really long time, I think like no matter from a VC perspective or retail users perspective, they haven't seen any like big success project where they get the early chance to bet on, say, application or bet on a application project, and then they receive like airdrop, which I think PalmFund or I think Hyperliquid users they receive a lot of airdrop.
They did,
but they are kind of the only like standing like example where like people have like a lot of upside. I mean, like
yeah, no, keep going.
So I think like it's more of like all the market, no matter the retail participant as well as the VC participant, VC, they need to start to pay more attention to applications.
I mean,
builders.
One thing to remember with the Hyperliquid airdrop is like, why does the Hyperliquid airdrop go well when no other airdrop has gone well? And the reason is because Hyperliquid is not actually infra. Hyperliquid is an app that built infra to support an app, right? And because of that, it means that it actually had paying users and was able to airdrop based on the amount of money that people had spent. So like every other airdrop is not based on revenue. But Hyperliquid's airdrop was based on revenue because they already had revenue before the airdrop, right? And so they're actually able to give money to people who gave them money. So it's like it correlates quite directly to people's actual spending in a real app with real money, which is not something that's ever possible with other infra, because other infra is all pre-TGE. It's it's not a mainnet, it's testnet, it's not real money. So you have farmers and you have fake usage and you have fake numbers. But like Hyperliquid's actually was real. Like it was actually real users with real money that they were able to airdrop, who actually had to buy in to get paid out, right?
Let's be honest, like crypto users or gamblers in some way or traders, right? Like we still haven't seen like people who just want to use like quality product, right? I think so that's why like I mean, and we also need to be fair in the fact that like no matter you are a decentralized exchange or central exchange, as long as you have a like lawyer trader user base, you're printing. That's the most like printing business in the in this industry. So that's why like builders or in some way are incentivized to build just like better casinos for the users.
Sort of, but it's a Ponzi if like all you're doing is trading on stuff that never is actually going to be useful to anyone in any way. Eventually the whole house of cards is going to collapse, right? Like you can only trade things so long with an expectation that some of these tokens will go up before you either realize you go the pump fund route where it's like it's meme coins and you go from a 6-month cycle to a 3-month cycle to a 3-week cycle to a 3-day cycle to a 3-hour cycle, and like suddenly like it's just collapsing in on itself because like everyone knows there's no actual value and you're just hoping that other people think there's value when they also know there's no value, and you get into the self-reflexive cycle. But like that the meme coin collapse can happen to the entire industry. It's like why is ETH worth anything right now? Like what is the case you're going to make? It's not a medium of exchange. Like people are not using it as a reserve currency, right? It's not a store of value. Like clearly it's quite bad at that. Like maybe crypto economic security, but if that's the case, like there's no way it needs to be having like a $500 billion valuation, right? So like trading is great now, but just like Pump Fund was great for trading for a year or two, but it's like unless you actually build something that actually is going to be useful to people, I don't know how long you continue to print from that. If we do manage to build things that are useful to people, then sure, trading will continue to be valuable because these will be tokens people actually need to buy. and sell. But like, there's only so long I think you can maintain a self-reflexive cycle, and crypto's been in that for frankly a decade now. So yeah, we do need stuff that actually has real use case, or else none of this is going to be worth anything. And you know, I would actually say it's even more dire than what you're saying, because it's not simply that like crypto's only been used for gambling. Like on a crypto app side, crypto's only been used for wash trading. Like Pump Fund is really useful as a wash trading platform. You know, you can like buy and sell on one side, buy on the other, whatever. Like you move funds over without it being traceable that you moved funds over, right? With the meme coin. Like, so why are only 50 people making money a month on Pump Fund, but it's still doing massive volume? It's a really useful platform for wash trading. Why are centralized exchanges really helpful and really useful? They're really good for wash trading. Even Hyperliquid, like a lot of people use it as a lottery platform where it's like, yeah, I'll throw a bunch of money in and there's a 1 in 10,000 chance it goes up, but I'll make a fortune if it does. But like you can probably also use that for wash trading. And like, I don't know, I've wondered if some prediction markets are even useful for that. Although the liquidity is so much lower, it's a lot less likely. But like, there is a use case for crypto, and the use case has been wash trading, and like all these platforms have been really helpful for it. No one wants to talk about that. And I wonder why. But yeah.
First of all, I think like for the crypto industry it fundamentally is a hyper financial industry.
Yep.
And then we have financialized every single item.
Yep.
Or every single object in that's adjacent to the industry. Yep. And I think like in the future, I have expressed this again and again. Yep. Like there were 2 dimensions. One dimension is like for builders like me, like where we gonna help users to earn money, to you know be risk adjusted, to onboard the mass, right? To people who doesn't want to gamble, who actually want to grow. On the other side is people either like we are just like breaking down into behaviors, right? On the other side is like people who are like risk maxing,
totally,
and then they and then they want to trade.
Yeah.
And then they don't just want to trade the assets themselves. They also want to trade on the event. And then maybe there are people who also just say, oh, I don't care about the money. I just want entertainment. So they just like, it's a combination of things, but you kind of like separate those people. And I think like for anyone who is like an application builder or project builder, we essentially are finding our own niche and our own target users in those things. So it's kind of, it's not productive to, I guess like it's not productive to blame the market, even though I really want to say, oh, hey guys, like take a look at what we're building. It's useful, right? But it's more like, okay, you solve that specific problem good enough, the best in your sector. So like people gonna be, oh, I really want to use it. Because if you really talk about the success of Hyperliquid, it's like the user experience is good, like liquidity depth is good, right? The mechanism of how they design the market making balls, or how they did the whole transaction flow. It's just like traders love it, so they stayed. And then their incentive structure is good. Also, like they're burning like majority of their transaction like fee and back to the token holders. So I think like they
and the fact that the more you stake, the cheaper your fees are is a really good mechanism too, I think, right? For getting like, you know, people to commit to the system.
So I think like it's really like we need to think like principally, like fundamentally, like what are we solving? How do we stand out as a builder, right? So
you want to map yourself on that risk reward like spectrum, right? And I think like most successful apps to date have been as you said, like at the highest risk, highest reward, which is the term for that is a lottery. Like the highest risk, highest reward is lottery. It's like you have 1 in a million's chance, but you're gonna make, you know, your life's fortune. And I think like Hyperliquid is actually a really good product because you can actually find your way along that curve. Like if you want to do 2x leverage instead of 50x, you can do 2x, and you can be a lot safer. But like fundamentally, like I think Hyperliquid has mainly been useful as like a lottery tool. Although then you run into the issue that your users lose all their money and then they can't come back because they're broke. So there's that problem. But like Pump Fund is 100% a lottery platform. And so, you know, I would just frame it that it's like you have the lottery participants on one side losing all their money, and then you have maybe like wash traders who are like actually helping to keep it going because they're playing both sides. And they're delta neutral, but they're pumping a lot of volume because they're able to fundamentally just uses to move money from one account to another. But nobody, it's look, as an app builder, it's not my benefit to push that narrative. Like, I don't want to push the narrative that like apps have only worked through wash trading. Like, I want people to believe that crypto apps actually can work and they can be useful and they can be fun. Like, it's not helpful to me to push that narrative, but I do think we need to be honest, right? Like, about where things stand. I do think on the other side of things, like what you're doing, I'd say Aave, just like I'm always impressed by, because it's like they're building something that is so useful to the masses. It is low risk, low return overall. Like, I mean, depending how you use it, again, you can be at different points on that. But like, if you want to just earn interest, like rates, it's better than anything you get from a bank. And it works, and it's been around forever, and it's like not that sexy, but it is a great product for the masses, right? It's like obviously the first product I ever would feel comfortable recommending to like a non-crypto friend. I would never recommend Pump Fund or Hyperliquid, right, to like a non-crypto person. But I would feel comfortable recommending like Aave or Sprout or Avon, or like some of these tools, right, that are just like basic bitch DeFi, if we want to call them. Like, it's great.
We are, to be honest, okay. Just to clarify, I think yes, Sprout is doing a lot of things for DeFi, right? But I think we are bigger than that. I will tell you, right? I think like Aave, they have been battle tested. They have been like for so many years. They have like so much TVL, and then they have been testified by the market. Okay, they are the go-to DeFi lending and borrowing market. But I think like from building like Sprout as an app philosophical perspective, right? As I said, I also adopt more like how do we price the risk and rewards for different opportunities. And I realize like retail users, right? There are different kind of retail users. Normal mass adoption retail users said like whoever walking on the street, if you give them like more than 6%, 7%, or 10%, they will be like, oh my God, hallelujah. This is greatest day of my life forever, right? And then they just want to, okay, my funds are insured. But for crypto digital users or whoever have been in DeFi, they are always looking for a better way and more risk-adjusted or control way to earning higher yields. So if now you are just like giving the Ethena, like right now market is so shitty, right? Ethena is also like 5% or 10%, right? So what I'm always looking for is like what are the high risk but really really high yield for retail users? How do you do the curation, right? So I'm looking more of the general market trend, right? We are looking at AI trading bots. Right, we are looking at funding rate arbitrage strategies for tokenized equity.
I agree.
Because I feel like, I mean, just personally, if we only looking at like DeFi only, then we are kind of limiting ourselves. But if we know how to integrate the crypto world into the future narrative, like wherever the normal people's interests are, which I think right now people are trading a lot of AI stocks or just general stocks, and we are seeing like more and more on-chain trading volume on those stocks. And then naturally, when the money just flood or get into those industries, then it's our job to tap into those opportunities and then make it easy to use and available for the retail users. So that's like where I always batting. Like I would rather bet like 2 steps, 1.5 steps ahead of the curve, so that like when everything is ready, then okay, our product are also ready.
I agree. Like I think if you look at a risk reward curve, it's like crypto's captured the very top of that, which is the lotteries, and it's captured kind of the bottom of that, which is just beating banks on like deposits, right? Like you should be using Aave instead of a bank on the bottom end. And if you want to participate in a lottery, you should be using Pump Fund or Hyperliquid instead of like a state lottery. It's like it's better to do the 50x leverage on Bitcoin than it is to like go buy a lottery ticket. In terms of what you get. So like crypto's won, I think, both of those ends, but it hasn't captured the middle, right? Like the middle of like, well, what if you want like a 15% return with like a little higher risk, stuff like that hasn't been done. So I think like WCM, like World Capital Markets or Sprout, like these are like kind of the next generation of DeFi that are actually like built for capturing the middle of the market of the middle of the risk return, reward curve, which is a more interesting place to kind of inhabit. Because like I have been the degen who's done the lottery game, and like I lost all my money doing it because eventually you do. Like that's literally how the math works out. It's like I don't want to be there. I want to be somewhere lower. So there definitely is a market for it.
I mean, I guess
I'm excited for Sprout. Yeah.
Thank you. I am very excited because, like, given the recent like thinking and development, all I want is like I want to build a system, right? The system where you have like structured things, where you actually back test all your strategies and then open source, not open source, but more like a lot of participation from the retail users to get into those strategies. And plus, we are also very ahead of the curve for even the developers because I haven't heard any. I know a couple of teams that are internally testing similar strategies, but the way we think about it or the experience we're gonna do, like even when I'm now just thinking about it or just seeing the early results, I'm like, well, me personally, I'm so excited to open up to the users. But okay, I think this is enough for, I guess, the financial thinking of like the general industry. Let's get back to our original topic, right?
I also have another call I have to go to in a couple minutes. I should.
Oh my.
Yeah. We booked 30 minutes. We didn't book 60. So, oh no.
Oh no! So
you gotta book 2 slots if you want me for an hour. Sorry. But
I'm gonna cry now.
We can go for 5 more minutes. I can speak as quickly. Yeah.
Okay, speak really quickly. Like, what kind of support are you looking for from Base? Because
I don't need any support from Base. Like I'm good. If Base wants to use us, I think we can support them, to be honest. And I think like my disappointment with Base is like, I have worked with Ethereum Foundation. I've worked with Polygon. I've worked with Arbitrum. I've worked with, Abstract. I've worked with Avalanche. Like I've literally worked with every single one of their competitors and like to help them run successful campaigns that help their chain. And so for Base to be uninterested in that, to me as a builder, just signals like, okay, it doesn't feel like you're as invested as the other ones on a personal level when it's like, I have run all these campaigns on chains for competitors and Base is still like the #1 chain that's being used on Joke Race today, but that's also their call and that's totally fine and they're totally welcome to that. I think the reason I wrote that post was not because of my own experience. It was because I started meeting with all these other teams and they all were saying the same thing. They all were like, Base promised us all this support and then they connect us to someone else on the team who never responds and we're dropped. And that's like a recurring refrain. And so it's like, #1 thing is like, don't overpromise and underdeliver, right? Like don't tell people you want to support them and reach out to them and tell them you want to support them and then connect them to someone who like doesn't follow through or doesn't respond and ghosts you. Like this is really basic. Don't waste founders' time, right? Because they will get angry and then they will, they will say things behind the scenes. And then some stupid founder like me will actually be the one who says it publicly. So, okay, that's #1. But like Base is not alone in this. Like many chains set up group chats where it's like, I mean, a group chat is just like, it's the death knell for like getting anything done. Because like as soon as there's a group chat with an organization, everyone is waiting for someone else to respond. Like no one actually does anything. Like my rule is always like get out of a group chat, get a one-on-one. But like, okay, #1, don't waste founders' time, right? Like don't overpromise and underdeliver. But like in terms of like what you can actually do as a chain, no one has figured it out yet. I do think the Mega ETH is the most interesting. Like I think Mega ETH's like Mega Mafia program of like actively curating, giving support, helping them raise, picking the projects they want, and also making sure none of those projects are copy paste. Like every single project in the Mega Mafia is doing something new that has not been done before in crypto. And that's brave. Like you're really taking risk on stuff that has like not existed before, but is only possible in your ecosystem. It's like, it's pretty fucking cool. And it's a proof of concept for them as a chain where like, even if 90% of these projects fail, like they've shown what is possible in a way that inspires a lot of other people to come and want to build there, because it's a proof of concept, right? So it's like, you don't even need the apps to succeed in order to send a message that to other app builders of 1, here's what's possible. And 2, here's how we actively support people in our ecosystem. Like, here's how we actively give distribution in a way that like you will want. But yeah, I think it's also like, to totally shill here, like Joke Race is a distribution platform. Like we are used so you can do community votes and you can have community pick what apps are featured on your site or featured in the Base app. Like there's all ways that you could use us to actually distribute stuff too. And so I am skeptical of there only being one major chain that does not want to use us for that. But that's also on totally their call, and that's fine. And like, it's not, I don't know. We can each have different opinions. That's okay.
I feel like we
I don't
need
think I need
another
them
session for this.
Yeah.
David, we need a, because what you just said, like, have inspired me to think about so much, because I also really want to talk about this, right?
Yeah.
Like how, because for a long time, all of the chains, right, they are trying to raise awareness, or they try to put all the focus on chain native apps.
Yeah.
But given where the industry is going, and if you want to increase the velocity of any assets, it's gonna get cross chain, right? Otherwise, you're just like shooting yourself.
I mean, even I mean, I will say this is like the biggest mega ETH bull I think there is. I'm so fucking bullish on the ecosystem, but like there is even still a risk, right, in the model that they have of like not actually owning the app. Like if you don't own the app, it's like, then what is keeping you there? I think mega ETH has a good answer for that, which is like their actual technical performance of their chain. Like those apps would right now be pretty impossible to build on any other chain. But 2 years from now, that might not be the case. Like Solana, that was the case for years. Like for years, you could only build these things on Solana. You couldn't build them somewhere else. But that's no longer the case, right? Now you can build a Monad, you can build on Mega ETH. Like there are other high performance chains. So like the technical moat never holds over time. But the distribution moat does. And I think like that's if you can crack it. So yeah, I think it's just like chains have to think about themselves as app stores. Like they are fundamentally app stores, and like they need to kind of follow the Apple playbook, which is like, yeah, you start off by building the hardware, but then you need to be able to have like an active app store that is like getting everyone to launch there, and that's where the actual network effect is. And so yeah, we'll see who's actually able to crack this. I think Mega ETH has a really, really good shot.
You're the biggest bull. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's incentive alignment, right? For between the chains, between the founder and VC, and then between the project and the retail users.
Totally.
I know you're running short of time, but I should have booked 30 minutes. Oh God, but I think like we, instead of like,
we do this every month anyway. Like I feel like we're doing this like once a month anyhow. So we can
it's needed, because David, the thing is that like I think no matter how people think about this, right? You're being vocal is the number one step. If nobody is being vocal about the issues that the industry is having, how do we push this forward?
Yeah, and I think like, you know, Jesse is like a really nice guy, like really wants Base to win, like and Jesse is a fucking hard worker who has like been out there on the front lines, like pushing for this every day. Like huge respect. Like, but part of that also is Jesse is one of the most powerful people in the ecosystem. I think Jesse sees himself as like a very humble, like nice guy who's this there to be a supporter, and maybe doesn't realize how much everyone kind of lives in fear of him as a powerful figure, that no one wants to say anything about this. So like, you know, this has happened a lot in my life where I've gone and spoken out against things and people are like, well, you're the only one. And I'm like, no, I'm the only one who's a fucking moron to come and say it, because everyone else is scared to, because like, you know, I think Jesse has done everything he can not to be a fearful presence, but I think people are scared. Like Base is really, really powerful. They are the #1 American like player in the space. And like everyone wants their distribution and wants to be close with them, and like it's really scary to say what you think. And so I'm the idiot who does that. But like I do think it's important, because like everywhere I went in Buenos Aires, people were coming up and being like, this has been my experience as well. And like I think Base just needs to hear that. Like they're young and they're growing, and like they deserve to have feedback. And honestly, I would love Base to win. Like I think they're have a lot going for them, and like I do think they really do prioritize distribution in a way that's important, and like I don't know, hopefully this feedback will be helpful for them. Like I'm not doing this to try to like take down Base. Like I'm not that hubristic that I think I could do that, or what would I get out of that? Yeah, like why would I want that? Yeah,
they will all have their moat, which is their license, which is their printing business, which is their alignment with the government, right? So how they're gonna run the whole ecosystem is really dependent, I think, on the founder or the whole like core contributors who is really directing the the direction of like where the ecosystem gonna go. But I think we should be vocal, and we should also be always very reflective of like how we are building our apps to the users, as well as like how do we find an alignment. Because I feel like it's the worst thing is like you don't share what you are frustrated about, and you don't have the active communication channel. But if we think about this more from an objective, fact-based perspective, then there's room for growth. Because you are not just saying, oh, I hate this or I hate that. It's more like, okay, this is what happened, and this like how potentially we see how things could work.
And also I will say Base's credit, like Ryan from Base's, like I think Head of Growth, like reach out to me, and we met at Buenos Aires, and we did a long talk, and it was really good. Like he was really listened, and like I mean was taking a lot of mental notes, and like it felt really nice. Like it felt really nice to be like heard, I think. But it also was like nice to know that like they really do take this seriously, and like they do care about founders, they do care about builders, and like I think they might need to improve some of the mechanisms they have, and how they're running things, but like their values in many ways are in the right place. Anyway, wish everyone the best. I don't think we win or lose based on whether Base supports us. Like we win or lose based on many, many different factors. That would be nice, but like it might give us a few more marginal users or help speed up the rate of success or failure. But like I don't think apps need that. I think infra needs to figure out distribution so it can get the killer apps. Like that's kind of my fundamental point, is like you want to win on infra, build a good distribution pipeline, because that will get app builders to come build with you. So I think Solana kind of figured that out. I think Base kind of figured that out, but no one, they understand that idea, but no one's figured out the actual playbook yet. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Nice to catch up, Mina.
Yeah, same here, David. I miss your barbecue. Let's do barbecue.
Okay, not in the middle of winter. Yeah.
By the way, David is the #1 barbecue
vegan barbecue. Vegan barbecue influencer.
Yeah, vegan barbecue influencer.
Yeah, you can find me on the vegan barbecue scene on Instagram. My side career. I'll talk to you soon.
But talk to you soon. I will book 1 hour next time. Okay. Bye.
1 hour. Bye.
See you. Bye. Anyways, okay. I mean, sorry. I mistakenly only booked 30 minutes, but I think the reason why I want to invite David to come in on the show is really like for us to really discuss this topic, right? It's that the point is never about blaming one of the ecosystem or another. And I know, like, especially those ecosystems who are still very driven to grow, to curate, to incubate different applications within their ecosystems, they also need to hear from like a builder's perspective, right? And going back to earlier, the point of essentially the future is going to be cross-chain. This is also a very, I mean, I think a lot of people are gonna shed or share their own thoughts on this, because I still see most of the ecosystems, they will put the main support on builders who gonna be like only specifically building on their chain, right, without like putting too much. And then they were always seeking for some prioritization for the apps or protocols that are building. This is fair because this is like incentive alignment, but I'm just talking about the general direction of the market gonna go, right? If you want to increase the velocity as well as the utilization of your assets, then like cross-chain is the general direction, right? Because you will never be able to guarantee that you're on your specific chain, there will always be at all time of the market, bull or bear, crap, whatever market condition is, that you will always have the meta. I don't think any chain can promise you that. Solana had the meme coin season. Solana maybe is winning the tokenized stock, or ETH has all the institutions, the major financial institutions, right? And Base have, I guess, Coinbase. So I would say like you can even think of this as like a global like country map or whatever. It's like each ecosystem will have its own niche. And then our job or as from a builder's perspective, I'm just looking for the best opportunities. I'm just utilizing the best niche from each of those ecosystems. And I don't want to lock my assets into any single specific chain. This is psychology, human nature. This is how money gonna flow across different ecosystems, just like how money is flowing across the globe, right? And essentially, like what the world or what the whole like crypto industry want is like achieve a equilibrium or a balanced dynamic across the different borders, across the different ecosystems. So for Sprout, we are building for that, and we will never change our thesis, even though this means like it's harder in the beginning, but we should always build for the future. The timing is important, but we are not going to be stuck with like old thinking of all those ecosystems. No playbook has been an evergreen playbook in the crypto space, and it will not be, especially for the next like 5 to 50 years, because AI is expediting everything. It's expediting the flowing of the information as well as the capital. And that just means like to capture any upcoming opportunities, it requires more thinking, more skill, more confirmed prediction, and more active thinking. That just means like you cannot rely on any previous playbook. What you can rely on is maybe those like first principles, like how different parties or how different ecosystems can get aligned economically, and like how social coordination works. Because those things, I guess, like the changing, the not stable state is what we need to embrace in this ever-changing world. But one thing, I guess, like if we want to bring it to more philosophical level, is that one thing we can do is we can always read more articles, as well as like getting into learn all those historical events, because you can easily map what happened among different parties, like what are the most key important events that are driven the changes in economy, in politics, in all of those, and apply it to your niche world. That could be interesting. And that's just a more like complicated topic that we wouldn't have enough time to address it. But with that being said, sorry, we didn't have much time to talk about like what builders are really needing from different ecosystems perspective. But I think like from my personal view, we need a more fair chance to be seen as like application builders. At least like we want different stages or different activities or more open opportunities where you can get the access and expose your application to a broader audience, instead of just like some ecosystem, if they already have a selected group of people they want to work with and they only work within that small group, then it's harder for like really good builders but who doesn't have like good connections to get exposed to those distributions. So I think that's like the number one thing I want to think about it, right? Because I'm not afraid of competition, and instead I actually just want a better platform, a more transparent platform to do the competition. Anyways, okay. Thank you guys for joining today's live stream. And tomorrow in the morning 10, I will do my normal live stream with Alvin. We will again talk about the market. I know people are still interested about the general market sentiment analysis and everything, but next time I will book longer time. I will also invite more application builders to come to my live stream, because applications it's going to be the meta. I promise you guys. VC is going to be delayed. It's okay. ecosystem is going to be still focusing on single chain applications, it's okay. We just continue to build. And I hope I will see you guys along my growth journey, along my growing journey. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.